Well, finally it's Friday, so got a Ukiah. So I got into Red Bluff this morning, dropped and hooked, grabbed on, brought it over here. Now I got an empty and getting ready to head back to Red Bluff and then done for the week. So we'll see what happens. You know, we have these tablets in our truck, and sometimes they screw up and they have a problem and everything, and so it's trying to get me to end the trip here. But after trying several times with someone in the office, we decided just head back. Maybe it'll resync at some point. Sometimes you got to restart these things. Sometimes you got to get into a better signal area. You just never know. But at any rate, I'm going to be heading back. So if it doesn't straighten itself out by the time I get back, then I guess we'll just have to manually go in and fix it or something. But whatever the case, it's Friday and I'm going home for sure. So empty miles back. A good portion of my hours are used. What do we got? I used 6.5, 7, 8, 8.5 hours basically. So good portion of the day is going to be used. So it won't be a loss. So when I get back to Red Bluff, I'll let you know how it all turned out. We got the tablet right. Got my pay proper. You got to make sure your pay is right, because if it doesn't get caught, you could get paid way more or not at all. So I'll update you on that here in just a bit. So I was a little bit of a hurry to get home and didn't get a chance to give you the follow-up on the rest of today. So I'm home now, and literally I've got to stand out here in the yard and make your update, because my 3-year-old, getting ready to go on 4, she is just over the moon there about the fact that I'm home. And yeah, constant talking, constantly bringing me toys, the whole bit. So I'm not going to tell her to be quiet. I figured I'd just come out here and let you know what happened today. So so I told you about the fact that I got a Ukiah, which is just a drop and a hook, and everything went pretty smoothly. It, like I was saying before, the tablet wasn't syncing up, or it just wasn't giving the deal where I can actually do a depart. So they just told me to come on in empty, don't worry about it, and then hopefully it'll fix itself. Well, luckily it did. About the time I got at the truck stop there, right before getting back to work, it finally synced up, and I'm glad it did. I mean, it's kind of our responsibility to keep an eye on our pay. You need to make sure that it's right. And basically you're getting paid by what you're entering into the tablet, based on the dispatches that are there available for you, your workflow, I guess they call it. And so, you know, you got to make sure that the right things get inputted. It actually came through correctly and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, sometimes that could be a headache, and I didn't want to do that. So I was really hoping that thing would sync up, and it did. So all in all, got back, and let's see, I got 416 miles today. Still had, I don't know how many hours, 3 hours to go, or I could still drive, but it's okay. And so I made $363. So not bad, considering I was short, you know, like 3 hours driving or something. Not to mention, Ukiah is not one of those stores where you can just, you know, full speed all the way there. It's kind of a canyon type road, steep grades, turns. You go by the lake there, Clear Lake, and it's like a touristy kind of thing. So, I mean, you got 30-mile-an-hour speed limits, and it's just one of those deals. It's not a money maker. But, hey, it was something. It's like 3.25 hours there and 3.25 back. So, I mean, it filled out the rest of my day. So I'm totally cool with that. So earlier today, I talked to one of our ops managers. He's been here for years. And, you know, I told him, I go, hey, you know, I took 3 days off out of my work week, you know, later this week, which basically meant that my Monday and my Friday are the 2 days I would work. Well, you know, I live pretty far from the DC, so I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to drive down there for 1 day. And I knew that in the beginning when I took the days off. We have family coming up, so kind of didn't have a choice. Needed to take those days off. And so anyway, I didn't want to use my PTO days. I've been trying to save up, because I used 6 of them because we're going to Hawaii here in September. And yeah, so kind of wanted to hang on to what I had. But anyway, I went in and talked to him, and I'm like, hey, you think that maybe I can work my days off? In other words, tomorrow would be my 1 day off, and then work for the next 5 days after that, which 4 of those days would be my regular days off, and then that 5th one would be my first day of that week. And then basically do the same thing on the other end, on the Friday. That would now turn into my Monday, and then I would just work through 5 days and then, get a day or two off and then go back to work again. Like I said, I work extra, here and there this time of year just to get extra money and stuff like that. It's good weather, so might as well go for it. Well, it was pretty cool because he says, well, why don't I just do this? Why don't I just make it to where these 3 days that you're taking off, we'll just make them your actual days off. And then you don't have to use your PTO days. And that's pretty cool. By doing that, basically, I could take those 3 days and put them away and just use them for later. And I'm working on both ends, so I'm not losing out on anything. And I thought that was pretty cool. He completely, in the system, he switched it to as if this was the regular thing. And then, of course, it switches back, after that. So, they're pretty cool like that at Walmart. I mean, they'll do stuff where it takes time, and it's not easy going through their system. Over the years, I've always been over their shoulder, watching them, what they're doing, asking questions. And I don't know what kind of system, what it's called or anything, but it is a difficulty to make things like that happen. It is a lot of screens and a lot of punching numbers in and everything. And so I just, I thought I'd share that with you. They'll bend over backwards, to do you right there if you ask them. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. So anyway, tomorrow is my day off, but I'll probably still have a video out for you guys. I think I'm going to do a recap on everything that I've done here in the last 5 days. Even though you've already heard about it, I think there's a couple of things that can go in a little more detail that you might be interested in. So we'll see. I'll get something out to you tomorrow. And then, then I'll be back at it on the next day. So as far as the 3 days coming up here, as far as those days, I'll still have some videos out for you guys. I'll think something up that might help answer some questions. Or if you're interested in some stuff, you got questions or you want something explained, put it in the comments, and maybe I'll make a video out of it on those 3 days. I'll have 3 different videos to choose from. So looks like my partner here, she's excited that I'm home too. It's actually my daughter's dog, but she thinks I'm her master. Best dog ever. All right, so I'm going to go back in the house. I've had enough of this week. Time to relax a little bit, so I'll catch you guys later.